mother, tell your children not to walk my way. Tell your children not to hear my words.
Hello all, and welcome to this, and this is a video response to a video response that really wasn't a video response, but it was a video response from McMahon Hater to me about my opinions on the Montreal Screwjob and why he thinks I'm completely full of it, because in his opinion, Bret should not have done the job to Shawn because of the way Shawn acted, the way that Shawn was during that period of time. None of that has anything to do with why Bret Hart should or should not have done the job to Shawn Michaels. The Montreal Screwjob has nothing to do with Shawn Michaels. If you think it has something to do with Shawn Michaels, then you know what? You probably also think that you probably believe every conspiracy theory out there. Okay? The Screwjob has to do with Bret Hart, Vince McMahon, and Eric Bischoff, not Shawn Michaels. Why does it have to do with Eric Bischoff? Here's why. Well, before I get there, he basically gave the history of what happened, and he basically, if you go watch the video, he left out a very major point, which was, after Bret did the job to Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania during the Iron Man match, he threw a hissy fit. Bret Hart fans always forget this fact, that he threw a hissy fit, which is why the WWE ended up giving him the huge monster contract which they could not afford, which everyone at the time knew they could not afford, even though they signed him to it. Everyone was like, how are they going to afford this? Because it was backloaded. The majority of the money was backloaded at the end of the contract, for those of you who don't know, for those of you who don't remember at the time. Furthermore, and that is really where a lot of the Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart stuff really got crazy. Even though beforehand it was not good, it was really before, because Shawn was resentful, Bret was resentful, and it kind of just went from there and got completely out of control. Add to the fact, Bret did not like Steve Austin. He didn't feel that the Steve Austin character should be pushed. He didn't want to do the jobs to Steve Austin, even though he put Steve Austin over. But he didn't like the direction the WWE was going in, or WWF at the time was going in, and even then it was rumored the fact that the reason why they were letting Bret go was because they were going to take the WWF farther in the direction they were going in, and they knew Bret would not go along with it, so they figured they'd just let him go. Also the fact that they didn't feel that he was worth the money they were paying him, just cut their losses, stick their money into other talents, and go from there. Okay? Now, here's why I feel Bret should have done the job. There is a tradition in pro wrestling that when you are leaving a company and you are the champion, that you drop the belt to whoever the ownership asks you to drop it to within reason. Them asking him to drop the belt to Shawn Michaels was within reason, because there's no one else you would have dropped it to. This isn't like dropping the belt to Mabel or dropping the belt to any number of other guys that the WWE had. Okay, they were building up for Austin's title reign. If you couldn't have Bret, you couldn't have Bret and Austin at WrestleMania, then you would have Shawn and Austin at WrestleMania. It makes sense, particularly since they knew Shawn would be leaving the company, not because of contractual reasons, but because of his back, which was already bad at the time. So they figured, you know what, we'll get rid of Bret. Shawn will be gone anyways. That big headache that is Shawn Michaels will be gone anyways, but he's more willing to go along with where we want to take the company. Big reason of why everything happened. Now, another thing he left out is the fact that Bret basically held the WWE title hostage. Yes, he did. As many as Bret Hart fans want to go, no, that's not what happened. Yes, he did. He basically said he would drop the belt to anybody but Shawn Michaels. There's basically three scenarios that I've always heard, and no one ever can confirm any of them. Is either A, he said, I will drop the belt to anybody but Shawn. B, I will drop the belt to Shawn the next night. Okay? Or C, I won't drop the belt to anybody and just forfeit the title and then go to WCW. Okay? No one's gonna buy the I'm gonna forfeit the title thing. Okay, because that wouldn't work. Everyone understands that. You got tradition. You're supposed to lose, and to the guy that is ownership's, pick. Okay, I think everybody understands that that's tradition in pro wrestling. Doesn't matter if it was Shawn Michaels, doesn't matter if it was Hulk Hogan, doesn't matter whoever it was, as long as it wasn't anybody, totally crazy, we're going to ruin your career, it is understandable. Okay, so I think everybody understands that part. Here's why it wasn't going to happen the next night on Raw. Because Bret could not, because Vince asked Bret, he said, okay, I'll do that, but you have to get a guarantee that Bischoff will not go on Nitro an hour before Raw starts and announce, we signed Bret Hart. Which Bret said, I can't guarantee that. Okay, so where does that leave you? That leaves you with Bret dropping the belt at SummerSlam or Survivor Series. Since he has to drop the belt at the pay-per-view, who does he drop the belt to? Okay, I mean, it's got to be Shawn. You've already got the match set. It's got to be Shawn. That's why you drop the belt to Shawn. It doesn't matter if Shawn was a dick at the time, which he was. It doesn't matter if he was an asshole at the time, because he was. It doesn't matter if any of the number of things Shawn Michaels was at the time. You drop the belt to Shawn because it was the right thing to do. That's why. It has nothing to do with what Shawn said, what Shawn was to the business. It doesn't have anything to do with that. Okay? And, he made Bret seem like this big, huge saint. Bret wasn't a saint during this. He got the big, huge contract because he basically held WWE hostage. Okay? That's something else the Bret Hart fans always forget. There's two sides to this story. The truth is somewhere in the middle. And that's what the Bret Hart fans need to realize, is that the Bret Hart side isn't really the truth either. The Vince McMahon side definitely isn't the truth. Neither is the Shawn Michaels side. It's really somewhere in the middle. Probably a little closer to Bret Hart's side. But if I'm Vince McMahon and my champion, okay, won't first show up at the show because he's not going to, because I'm going to tell him he's got to drop the belt to Shawn, and he's going to refuse to drop the belt, then you know what I do? I probably would do the same thing that Vince McMahon did. Okay, and then tell everybody, this is what's really going to happen. You're going to make Bret lose, and that's just going to be it. Okay? Now there's also the theory that everyone was in on it, and it was supposed to make Bret look bad. It was supposed to make Bret look good, and was supposed to allow Vince McMahon to do the Vince McMahon, Mr. McMahon character that he wanted to do anyways. There's that rumor too. There's so many rumors that go into this, it's not even funny. And the fact of the matter is, no matter what anyone ever says, I'm always going to say Bret Hart should have done the job because it was the right thing to do. He should have said, you want me to drop the title to Shawn? I will drop the title to Shawn. Because that's what needed to be done. Okay, that's what was the best interest for the WWE at the time, so that he could drop the belt to Steve Austin. I don't care if you want to come on here and say that, Undertaker basically had to go to Shawn Michaels and say, you know what, you need to drop the belt to Austin because Austin is the guy. I don't doubt that. He pulled that crap before. I don't doubt that. The fact of the matter is, I'm not here to defend Shawn Michaels, because Shawn Michaels at the time, as I said, was not a good guy, was not a great guy, and was a lot of other things. But to sit here and think that Bret Hart was totally innocent in all of this is complete and utter crap, because that's not the truth either. Okay, there's two sides to this, and the fact of the matter is that Bret should have walked in there, done the job. He still would have walked out a hero. The fans all knew he was leaving, and it would have been fine. But he refused to do it. And the big thing is, and I will always say this, is that if he would have been able to get Bischoff to get that guarantee, which Bischoff wouldn't have get, and even if Bischoff said, oh yeah, I guarantee it, unless I had it in writing, I wouldn't have believed it, with the crap that Eric Bischoff had pulled before. A lot of fans forget this. They want to just forget this part of it, okay? That's why, in my opinion, Bret should have done the job, done the thing, walked out the better man, because he would have walked out the better guy, in my opinion. He would have done the right thing, and I think a lot of fans got turned off by the fact that he wasn't going to do the right thing, and a lot of fans knew that. But that's just my opinion. I'm sure he's going to disagree. I'm sure lots of other Bret Hart fans are going to disagree, but that's just my opinion on it. That's the way I see it, and I'm out. Bye.